So I'm going to show you guys a picture, and I'd like you to try and make this model. Are you ready? Okay, here you go.
Ta-da! Oh, I like what you did with the man on the boat.
I like your island.
But none of us got it as good as that in the picture.
Yeah, that's true. None of us got it like the expert.
So I'm sure we can all agree that the clay models that Gift and Karen made are pretty good, but they're nowhere close to the way the expert made them. And did you know that God is the creator of everything? When you look around and you see the birds and the animals and the trees and the flowers, God made all of that. And God made you. And God made me. How incredible is that? And you know what's amazing is that God didn't use clay. God simply just spoke and everything came into being. And when God had made everything, he looked at it and he said it was good. It was perfect. The experts had made a perfect model. But what did that model actually look like? Well, Adam and Eve were the first people that God created, and he put them in the Garden of Eden. And the Bible tells us that God walked with them in the cool of the day. Can you imagine that? Walking side by side with God. That was God's perfect model. That we would live close to him. We would walk his way, being with him all the time. But sadly, Adam and Eve decided to do things their own way. They decided to create their own model, and what ended up happening is they took this perfect model that God had and they destroyed it. God's perfect plan, God's perfect model to live closely to them, their sin separated them from God. And now we could get really upset with Adam and Eve and think, how silly of them! How could they do that? But you see, the thing is, you and I do the same thing. The Bible tells us that all have fallen short of the glory of God, and we all make mistakes, and we all sin, and we all choose to go our own way, and we destroy the model. But do you know what's so incredible? Is that in that moment, God gives Adam and Eve a promise that he is going to send a savior that is one day going to come and forgive all the sins of the world. Do you see? It was God's plan. It was his way. It was never us that fixed anything. It was never our way. And so can you imagine that? Imagine living in a way that we are living in God's presence, walking closely with him. Well, that is exactly what we are going to be learning about in this series. How to walk God's way, how to walk closely to him. And so won't you join me as we learn more about how we can walk God's way?